10 months, Kuwait City went from looking like this, where there's healthy land, to looking like this. What happened in the middle? It looks like there's less land, but we know based on the 90 picture and the 91 picture that the land is still there, but we just can't see it. What's happening? I don't want to hear from you, sorry.
Okay.
What's happening? What does it look like? Take a risk. Serena? Kind of clouds? Kevin?
Desert.
No. Well, it is a desert region. Matt?
I was going to say water.
No. I said kind of clouds. Does that help? Ryan?
Is it fog?
No. Eamon?
Dust from war?
No. It's black clouds. What are black clouds, Tyler Dorman?
Fire.
Fire! It's smoke. What are the two main resources in this region? Water and oil. Now we're switching ahead and we're going to talk about oil. Okay? This is Kuwait. In the early 90s, there was a conflict in the region called the Persian Gulf War. Okay? United States was on the side of Kuwait. Iraq was on the other side. Okay? Let's put it as simply as we can. Okay? Now, Iraq didn't like Kuwait having all this oil, so what did they do? They started on fire. Okay? It ruined their resource of oil. So that's what's happening here. In August of 90, happy Kuwait. Okay? It's all good. By February of 91, fire in Kuwait. All the black smoke. And then afterwards, the land is not vegetable. It can't be used for farm. I just made up my own word. Okay? So that's what happened in 90 and 91. Briefly. Okay? Now, we're going to go back. Now we're going to fast forward in history even more to today. Okay? Today in this region, there's a lot of conflict here in Israel, in that region, right? Okay? Syria. But there's also conflict over in Afghanistan and Pakistan, and that's where we're going to go now. Okay? So, Cade, you with me? You look like you want to be sleeping like I did yesterday. It was amazing. I got to take a morning nap. It was awesome. Okay, now, here's what I told the other class. I'm going to read an article to you, and we're going to talk about it. It might seem painful, but it's way better to do this than for me or Mrs. Stauffer to email it to you all and make you all read it, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to read it together, okay? And this is now my second time using one of these cool little ditty daddy things. What Iran and Pakistan want from the Afghanistans? Wait, it's actually water, okay? So, this article is actually from Time Magazine in late last year, okay? Mrs. Haugen and I edited it a little bit because there was some extremely graphic, brutal information in it that we didn't feel was okay to read. So we took it out, okay? Just focus up on there, not on me, okay? With a vast empty desert as a backdrop, the militants recorded the execution of Khan Wali on video. As someone held a camera, the others encircled the condemned man to read out his sentence. This is not brutality, this is justice, declared one of the executioners. What's justice? Y'all have never heard the word justice?
Yeah.
The root word is just. So what does it mean for something to be just? If you think about a death, they're killing a person and they're saying it's justice, it's not brutality. Chandler, I'm sorry, but I want to hear from somebody else.
I'm used to it.
Oh, okay. That's what Caleb said the last hour, too. Come on, folks. Otherwise, she could send this out as an assignment. Lexi, I don't want to hear from you either. Okay. Justice. Serena? Righteous. It's fair, right? It's being made right, okay? So this is not brutality, this is justice. So they're killing a person and they're saying that something is being made right. because of his death. What was Kanwali's crime? He was protecting one of Afghanistan's most important resources, water. Kanwali led a 60-man semi-official militia tasked with defending the Machago Dam in eastern Paktia province. When in doubt, just pronounce it how you think it is, and then people will expect that you totally know what you're saying, okay? So is it really Paktia? I have no idea, but it sounded good, right? Okay, so, what's a militia? Oh, thank you. Matt.
It's a small group that's not like government formed.
Okay, they're not government formed, but they're kind of like a little military, right? It's a group of citizens that have worked together. Now, this is a semi-official militia. We're going to read on and find out that they actually were receiving some money from the government, okay? So their task, their job was to defend this dam in the Paktia province. Already 2 years behind schedule because of security concerns, the dam would irrigate about 16,000 hectares. See, I didn't do a very good job of pretending like I knew what I was talking about there. Of land and produce 800 kilowatts of electricity once completed. So the region in Afghanistan really needed this dam because they needed power from the water, hydropower. Yes? Yes. Okay, good. The government had pledged that if Kanwali held his ground for 2 months, 60 days, he and his men would receive weapons and cash, but Kanwali lasted only 20 days into the mission. Why would an individual in this region, where there's a lot of conflict happening, why would he want and or need weapons and cash? Yeah.
To buy like weapons and stuff to protect them, like the dam, instead of using like what they have, raw resources.
Yeah, and to protect his people, right? To protect his family, okay? Good. His remains were recovered 8 days after his savage execution, his nephew told Time magazine, okay? With such bravery, he tried to protect the dam, and they killed him so brutally. And ladies and gentlemen, they did. This article actually explained what they did, and it's horrible, okay? Absolutely horrible.
Where can you find this article?
I don't know. I have it on piece of paper right here. Water is a critical issue in Afghanistan. I can give you my piece of paper if you want.
Okay.
Okay? Water is a critical issue in Afghanistan. It's already been edited, though. And for countries like Iran and Pakistan that are dependent on 4 of the 5 river basins that flow out of Afghanistan to irrigate their territories. Meanwhile, though the Afghans currently have enough water for their own needs, any perception of abundance is illusory. So it might look like they have extra, but they don't. Okay? Indeed, the availability of water per capita is expected to decline by 50% in the next 3 decades, according to the UN-funded report. Now, 3 decades. What is that? Chandler, put your iPad down. But 3 decades. Somebody else. Okay, let's slow this down a little bit. How many years is a decade?
The root word deca means 10.
Oh my goodness. What did you just say, Lexi?
The root word deca means 10.
The root word deca means 10. So a decade is how many years, friends? 10 years times 3 is 30. Woo! It's rocket science, right? Okay? All right, so in 30 years, they're saying that each person per capita is expected to decline. Their availability of water is going to decline 50%. So that means that you all would have half the water that you have now. Or half the water available to you that you have now. Okay? Big deal. Afghanistan's extremely weak infrastructure. What's infrastructure? Besides being a hard word to say. Roads, pipeline, bridges, all that stuff. Okay? Afghanistan's extremely weak infrastructure and one of the lowest water storage capacities in the world means that large parts of the country cannot make use of their own water resources. So they might have some water there, but they don't have the means to get the water, to purify the water, to do things like that with the water. Frequent droughts, localized and national, further affect the population, causing food shortages and migration. In 2008, for example, wheat production declined by 40%, so almost half of the wheat production that they had previously had because of lack of precipitation. Water is key to strengthening the foundations of Afghanistan's mainly agricultural economy.